Hi guys, so this right here is a seed from a butternut squash, and I'm going to show you how you can eat that seed. And I've made other videos like this. I made one about eating a lemon seed and one about eating an apple seed. The principle is largely the same. These seeds have a husk or an outside covering that's quite fibrous and not that pleasant to eat. It's kind of like if you think of the peas in a pod. The pod is fibrous, but the peas inside are nice, soft, and you can chew them and eat them. And these seeds are the same way, although the seeds are a little harder than peas. Well, I don't know how peas are when they're not cooked. Maybe they are firmer too. Firm might be a better word than hard. So I'm putting that seed in my mouth. So basically these husks are two halves that the plant sort of glues together, like a seam down the edge there. So I'm going to kind of try to separate the two halves by holding it between my teeth and kind of pressing. My saliva helps to soften that glue. Now, with these squash seeds, I found the halves don't come apart as nice. With the lemon seeds, they come apart pretty nicely. The apple seeds, they come apart pretty well, as I recall. These often don't. But I'm working it between my teeth, trying to get the two halves to split. I'm kind of holding the seed like this, sort of horizontally between my teeth and kind of pressing along that seam. With these butternut squash seeds, it can take a while. It's not so bad. I mean, yeah, normally I would do it while I'm doing other things, but I have to hold the camera here. I'm kind of trying it other ways too, like gently pushing with my teeth at one end, trying to push the seed out the other end, letting the seed split the glue along where the two halves of the husk are joined together. Sometimes they'll split along the seam nicely, and sometimes not. Well, as I kind of chew on a bit, little bits of the seed are coming out. So with these butternut squash seeds, it's really hard to get the seed out in one seed form. But these taste fine. They taste kind of nutty and a little dry, and they have a nice nutty texture. So I'm chewing on them on the left side of my mouth and kind of holding the actual, well, the husks up here. So this one This one didn't break too nicely. There's another bit. These bits show up nicely on camera. Some more bits. Basically, I'll stop chewing this one. Well, as I eat the bits, the plumpness of the seed goes down. The two husks are still joined right now. Sometimes I can get them split. And sometimes not. Basically, I think the two halves of the seed have split a little bit here and there, and little bits of the seed are coming out where the two halves of the husk split. So the plumpness of the seed is kind of, as the little bits of seed inside reduce, the plumpness of the seed goes down and it becomes more flat. So here's the husk. Here's the husks now. I don't know if you'd call that a singular husk or a plural husks, because it's two halves joined together. But you can see it's gotten pretty flat. I wish it had split so I could show you the two halves. Sometimes they split, sometimes they don't. But I got the seed eaten. I may try it with another seed. This particular seed started out not too plump anyway. The seed inside this husk was not that plump to begin with, so generally the plumper the seed that's inside, the easier it is to get these husk halves split, I think, as I remember. But that's the idea there. And you know, it's using more parts of the squash, which is nice, and getting pleasure out of them. The husks, you can eat the husk, but they're not as pleasant as the seeds inside. It'd be a little like eating the shell of a peanut as you eat the peanut inside. Hi guys, well, I got another seed. I should tell you, this is the first time, the last couple of days is the first time I've ever tried to eat these butternut squash seeds. So I got another one, and really it's not much fatter. I think it's fatter than the first one, but not much. And you know, I've probably eaten 20 of these seeds now, and as I recall, if I think about it now, I don't think the husk ever split completely. They do on other kinds of seeds that are much plumper. So I think maybe with these butternut squash seeds, in all cases, I may be eating them with those little bits that you saw. So the way the little bits come out is that gradually, as you work that seed in your mouth, the two husks have split here and there, I think, and you can probably mostly at the front, where it comes to a sort of point. I think that's, well, mostly I think I end up pressing kind of at the back and trying to press the seed forward in the pod or husk, and they eventually split the front open a little bit, and the bits come out. But since the husks don't break apart completely, you don't get the seed in its whole form. If I didn't have to hold the camera with one hand, once the husk splits, I might be able to show you where it split, because I could probably find where it split and pull it apart a little bit with my fingernails and thumbnails. But I think you understand the principle, so it doesn't seem super important one way or the other. This seed is, I think, is a little bit fatter than the other one, so I'll see if it's any different. Well, I got a bit now, but I don't know if that's from this one or the prior one. I'm not sure. I think, well, when I do it like this for a video, it may seem a little bit tedious to you, but the one nice thing about this is that you can be working these seeds while you're doing other things. You can work them in your mouth, and so it's not tedious then, because you're doing other things, and this is just something you can be doing at the same time. Yeah, I may have gotten confused, because with other seeds they really will split, and you can see the two halves will come apart completely, and you can take them out of your mouth and see them. I didn't mention that generally with these husks I throw them away after I get the seed out, but I think you would have figured that out. If you think of the pod of peas, they split too. I think to get the peas out, you pull one half of the pod away from the other half. They call that shelling peas, I think. And I don't know if you have to cook them a little to do that. The cooking would soften the kind of natural glue that the plant made to hold the two halves together. But maybe you can do it without cooking them. Maybe it's not that strong a glue. The glue on the butternut squash seeds is pretty strong. Sometimes I'm turning this up and down between my teeth and pushing down at the top, pushing the bottom, pushing down at the top of the seed and up at the bottom of the seed. Trying to sort of bend the seed so that it causes that glue to break and those two halves to come apart. Once you get it in your mouth, I think you'll have a feel for it. At some point, I tend to sort of give up trying to split the halves and just start trying to push the seed out from one end or the other, and using the seed itself to break the halves open. Which is what happened here. Now I've got some decent sized bits. I think in this case I use my teeth to sort of pinch it on the side and try to push the seed out the other side as opposed to the front or back. But either way, we got that little bugger. You can sort of tell as you push on the seed with your teeth, you can sort of feel where there's still seed in there. At some point it only bulges out maybe in one place on the seed, whereas it started out bulging out along the whole husk. Yeah, this is pretty close to, I'd say this, oh, this is done. There are a couple of bits, actually, those white things, let's see, there are a couple, boy, it's hard to do this. There are a couple of bits still hanging on the seed. Get those off with my lips, so that's cleaned off. There was one on the underside too, so I got that with my tongue. I wonder, I don't know if, well, if I could somehow have both hands free, I could try to see where exactly that seed's, oh, let me see. I can sort of see, well, right, let me see here. I think this one split right there at the end away from my fingers. You might be able, there's a tiny open line there where it split. But unfortunately, to get the focus, if I move it up close, I lose the focus. Oh, yeah, you can actually see those tiny white bits. That's where the seed split up there, and some of those bits didn't all come out. They're right there at the opening where it split. So basically, I could take this, I think, with my thumbnail, yeah, and split it. And I'm basically pulling it apart now. So those are the two halves. And yeah, they were well joined. So actually, this side still has some white, well, it has sort of a gauzy material there, but under there's actually still some seed bits. So actually, I suppose at the end of this, if you wanted to really get every bit of seed, you could take your fingers and finish pulling it apart and get the last little bits. But if that's too much trouble, you could stop after you've gotten most of it out with your mouth. I mean, maybe in some cases it would all come out with the mouth, but with this one it happened to not. At any rate, I think after well, let's see. Well, I think I'm getting the last bit. I got that gauzy inside wrapper, I guess. I think there's some white. Damn, I'm talking and I'm spitting out seed bits. And I worked for those. Anyway, that looks white, but I don't think that's seed anymore. I don't know why it looks white on camera, but Anyway, I think all the seeds gotten now. But the part with the fingers, that for me, that might be a little too much trouble. I'd probably stop with what I got with my mouth and just throw away the husk. But anyway, but it's up to you. Anyway, it's fun. It's genuine nutrition. It's small bits, but every bit helps when you are eating food. It's kind of fun to use something to get some food that maybe people haven't really eaten much before. I'm not going to say I'm the first one to ever discover this, but I'm guessing not too many people have done it. Maybe they have. Anyway, that's how you can do it. And if you like, look for my other videos. It's very similar. Look for my other videos. You can also do it with an orange seed, but I haven't made a video about that. But I've made them about lemon seeds and apple seeds. And the lemon seeds are the biggest payoff because it's a bigger seed. And the lemon seeds taste kind of nicely like lemon, but not sour. But it's fun, and even if you only do it once, it might be interesting to you just to find out how these taste.